Hey guys, welcome to Pajama Let's Play. I'm Michelle, host of Pajama Let's Play, where we talk all things Kingdom Hearts. Today, I'm going to talk about Yen Sid and his role as the guru of Kingdom Hearts. But before we get into that, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. You can follow me on Twitch, check out my Patreon, or leave a tip via PayPal. All of those things are in the description box down below. There aren't a lot of spoilers in this video, but I'd like to put the warning just in case. Yen Sid is one of the most mysterious characters in Kingdom Hearts, except unlike the Master of Masters, Luxord, and the like, very few people seem to talk about Yen Sid. We know he's a retired Keyblade Master, can part a sea of Heartless like Moses at the Red Sea, and has more knowledge and experience than almost everyone else. I'm not making assumptions for now about the Master of Masters and others for how much knowledge they legitimately have versus how much was just in the Book of Prophecies. But I'm fairly certain the Master of Masters is older than Yen Sid anyway, so he wouldn't have had as much access to such a convenient knowledge base. So why did Yen Sid retire from having students? Maybe it's because he's old and tired, maybe he's busy, but really I think it's because of Mickey. Think about it. Mickey is the only confirmed student of Yen Sid, and he enchanted the broomsticks, flooded the tower, and in Dream Drop Distance got himself stuck in a sort of sleep paralysis. Thankfully, Sora and Riku were able to pull Mickey out of all that. If we go by Fantasia, the original, not the remake in the early 2000s, it seems Mickey was just reckless the moment his teacher left him alone. I imagine for Yen Sid, it felt more like he was babysitting than teaching the king. If I were Yen Sid, I'd be annoyed and feeling overworked, so I think it makes perfect sense that he would just stop taking students. And have you noticed that Yen Sid is the one who explains things to Sora and has the fairies make him new clothes? Since it's always him, he clearly is seen as the most knowledgeable person in their reality. That's great, until people get used to asking him for answers instead of doing the research themselves. Yes, we see Mickey looking for clues about many things through the series, but based on Yen Sid's conversations with Sora, specifically in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, he explained everything he seemingly knew about Heartless, Nobodies, and Organization 13, and then sent Sora off to help finish solving the mystery. Everyone checks in with Yen Sid, they come to him with questions, and he shares his knowledge willingly. Here's the problem with that role, though. Once you establish yourself as the most knowledgeable in pretty much all things, people forget that they're capable and smart enough to do their own research and find their own answers. Maybe this is projecting, but I can imagine how Yen Sid might feel. He's trying to prevent a Keyblade war. Whether Sora finds Kairi isn't as relevant to Yen Sid's goals until she demonstrates that she, too, can wield a Keyblade. Until that moment, it's easy to assume Sora's allowing his hormones to dictate his choices, and a crush on a girl is nothing compared to resetting the worlds or the thought of darkness encompassing all of them. I've also noticed that while Yen Sid does explain things thoroughly, he sticks to the topic he's asked about. He could explain the mechanics of Keyblades, the history shown in Union Cross, everything he knows about the original Keyblade War, and so much more, but he doesn't. For me, that just further confirms my point. They're going to ask him anyway, but sometimes it's better to give them the opportunity to show whether or not they can figure things out for themselves. Generally, when people have someone to go to with every single problem, they won't learn how to handle those problems themselves, and they will be mentally weaker for it. Sometimes it's best to just answer the questions you're asked and trust them to figure out the rest on their own. Especially since these people are Keyblade Masters, implying they will have their own students that they do have to teach. And it would be really messed up to have a student ask a question and they respond with, "Hold on, let me go ask Yen Sid instead of helping you and figuring this out together." My final point about Yen Sid is his notoriety. For most of the Kingdom Hearts series, we've seen him in his tower watching from afar and getting intel when he can. Until Kingdom Hearts 3, that is. As I referenced earlier, he separated the Heartless just like Moses parted the Red Sea. Why hasn't he acted sooner? Why hasn't he come in to assist them when they really needed it? Because they didn't really need it. Each of these characters are strong and capable in their own right, and can handle these problems without Yen Sid's help. However, now that he's gotten involved the one time, it wouldn't surprise me to see the characters asking Yen Sid to come help them fight more often. We only saw a glimpse of his power, And if it weren't for the Book of Prophecies and having detailed knowledge of the future, he could easily deal with the Master of Masters, Organization 13, all of it. But he's an old man who has clearly served his time already, and the next generation of Keyblade Masters have to see that they are capable without Yen Sid's intervention. I assume Yen Sid is mortal and therefore won't be around forever, so the Guardians of Light are being shown how to do things on their own while Yen Sid is still around to be a safety net if it's truly needed. I can't really speak on the Kingdom Hearts characters because it depends on Nomura's vision and writing, but I firmly believe that if these were real people, they would absolutely be going to Yen Sid about every single issue for the rest of his life, because that's what people do. Why would they travel world to world looking into the ancient libraries for knowledge, hunt for clues, or anything else even remotely challenging if Yen Sid can just make it easy for them? And that's the burden of the guru. The more you show others what you can do, the more they expect you to do. Then they tell their friends about it, and those people will start coming to you too. But who fulfills that same role for the guru? No one. The guru got this knowledge because they had to figure it out all on their own, and others tend to see it as selfish if they don't share what they've learned. But in making such demands and only thinking of the self, they tend to forget that the guru is human too. They have other things to do than fix all your problems for you. There's so many resources on this planet to deal with the daily issues associated with simply trying to survive, that the guru should be reserved for the issues that can't be Googled or worked through with a good therapist, especially since it's so rare that the students give back anything near what they take. What I'm really saying here is don't forget that you are smart, capable, and strong. You have access to all of the resources you need to figure out how to survive in life. And if there is someone you go to for such things, do them a favor and ask if they want or need anything in return. These relationships need to be equal. And even if you can't help them with their problems, you can let them vent or help with errands or something to lighten their burden. I think the world would be so much better if we just took better care of ourselves and each other and ensure balance in all of the relationships that matter to us. But what do you think? Does Yen Sid have any other roles than simply the guru and teacher? Will someone like Ansem the Wise step up to help make sure everyone has all of the information they need? Tell me all about your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to do all of the things I'm supposed to ask you to do, also in the description box down below. Until next time.